Hello everyone, Kasabi from Showzone here, and it's time for another episode of Best in Show for the month of June. We've just had a huge content drop, a lot of new finest players added, some future of the franchise players, and it's time to update our meta overall and true overall rankings for the best lineups you can build in MLB The Show 22. So here's a look at the true overall squad. You'll notice some familiar faces. The George Brett card that just got released, a 106.92 true overall, which is the highest in the game as of now, and also one of the best third basemen we've seen in quite some time. There's also some other collection rewards such as Roberto Clemente, Frank Thomas, and Randy Johnson. Those four players are the top four true overall, so nice to see that some of the collection rewards at least are still some of the highest rated cards in the game, but we'll get a look at that meta overall in just a moment. Because a lot of collection rewards are still the top cards in the game, as you get a look at the squad here, a lot of those cards are also still going to be the ones that we would recommend for your lineup as far as true overall goes. You have second half Gary Carter, the Mets reward. For the collection, you have Frank Thomas, Chase Utley, George Brett. Really the only changes recently have been the Takashi Babe Ruth that is now in right field at 97.46, top rated right fielder in the game. And then future stars Michael Harris at center field, just above a 95. We have him as a 95.29. On the bench, there were a lot of center fielders that are rated very high in true overall, so that's why there's three of them on the bench. You got Josh Lau, Garrett Mitchell, and Pete Crow Armstrong. And then rounding out the other two spots are the cover athletes Joe Mauer 96 card and the Takashi Carlos Delgado. There's also a few new faces in the rotations. We have Roy Halladay, who was added from the Halladay and Friends program, the top card you can get in that one. He's fourth in the rotation along with Randy Johnson and Mike Mussina. The Takashi Greg Maddux World Series reward is also right about the same as Roy Halladay, just 0.1 difference in their true overall rankings. And then future stars Bobby Miller, 95 overall, is going to be the fifth spot in the rotation. And for true overall in the bullpen, all of the arms are above a 90 now at this point. They're all rated 91 or higher, but the true overall kind of lists them a bit lower in terms of their rankings from what you see on the card with the diamond, that is. So Kenley Jansen, 94.84, shows as a 96 in the game. He is your best reliever as of now, followed by the new finest 2010 Brian Wilson. He is the second best reliever in the game. Also have signature series Bruce Sutter, Trevor Hoffman Takashi series, and then a few older cards like Zach Britton from a few programs ago. You also have Andrew Miller, Steve Cishek, and Dennis Eckersley rounding out the last three spots. To explain these rankings a little bit more, again, true overall is the attributes that are given to the players by the developers in the game. For more information on how true overall works, feel free to visit this link right here to one of the videos we've had that covers true overall in the past. You'll get all the full details. Moving on to meta overall, which is a new metric that we've introduced since our last Best in Show episode. The meta overall ranks players from a 0 to 99 scale, 99 being complete endgame card. So there are a few other collection rewards that are still in the meta overall, such as Frank Thomas, George Brett, Randy Johnson, but there are a lot of changes compared to the true overall squads, as you'll see here. Starting off, we have a lot of catchers on the bench. So Joe Mauer is your top rated catcher based on meta overall. He gets the start at catcher. We also have Corey Lee, Joey Bart, Luis Campusano, and Shea Langoliers all on the bench. They're all very well rated in that 82 range for endgame cards, because there aren't too many catchers like these as you go further into the game cycle. So right now it's a little bit more heavily skewed towards catchers. There were a lot of catchers in this future of the franchise program, but going forward, you're not going to be seeing as many catchers released regularly, and the bench will kind of even out as the year goes on in terms of the positions that you see on the bench. There's also a few feature stars that cracked the starting lineup. So at second base, we have Gunnar Henderson, and at right field, we have first baseman Nick Pratto. He's good enough to make the leap all the way up to right field and jump over other cards such as Babe Ruth. Roberto Clemente is moved over to center field. Delgado, even though left field's his secondary, he'll be starting in left field to give you the best edge, even though he's a first baseman by trade. Troy Glaus over at shortstop, so a lot of players in their secondary positions, but again, George Brett is the best player in the game as of now, both for true overall and one of our top meta overall scores, a 91.59 for George Brett, very close to that 99 mark. And as we mentioned earlier, the collection reward for the start of last year, Chipper Jones, right at about that same level. Now in the rotation, you do have 4 out of the same 5 names that we saw in the true overall rankings, such as Johnson, Maddux, Halladay, and Bobby Miller. The one change is Corbin Burns is rated just a little bit higher than Mike Mussina, so he gets the nod as the 5th starter. a 73.20 meta overall score. It's very close, but we do think Corbin Burnes will give you that edge as the 5th starter as of now, start of June. And in the bullpen, again, a lot of familiar faces. There are a few changes. So we have Aroldis Chapman and Devin Williams from the Face of the Franchise series rounding out the bullpen, as well as live series Josh Hader. So what does this mean for rankings? Well, as you saw with True Overall, there's a lot of high-rated center fielders that the game developers think, but based on the meta overall, there's an abundance of catchers right now, and you can really just kind of go with one that you really enjoy. There are a lot of catchers, so if you think one you swing better with in the game than another, there aren't really too many differences between some of the catchers that we listed on the bench. And that's good, because if you only have like 2 catchers to choose from, such as Mauer and Gary Carter just a short while ago, now you have 6 or 7 options to maybe see who works best with you that are all around the same meta overall. We also have a lot of work to do in the middle infield and the rotations. You can kind of see here, a lot of the players are low to mid 80s in pretty much everywhere except for second base, shortstop, and starting pitching. The shortstops and second basemen are a little bit further behind into the mid and high 70s. And the rotation, I mean, 99 Randy Johnson you would think would be an endgame card, but he is actually only a 77 for the meta overall, as well as a lot of the other starting pitchers that we see. So I would probably guess they're going to be a lot better starting pitchers as the year progresses. Randy Johnson obviously is the one that everybody's kind of striving for at the moment, but most everybody has Roy Halladay and Corbin Burnes. Greg Maddux is a World Series reward. There's going to be better starting pitchers than that here fairly soon, probably around the All-Star break. So a few of the things regarding meta overall that you might be kind of scratching your head on. Again, we alluded to this in our meta overall video, and you can give that a look right here. But the meta really favors cutters and sinkers at the moment, which a lot of these pitchers tend to have. You'll also notice that there are a lot more power hitters in meta overall because the developers at San Diego Studio really tend to favor contact when they're assessing their true overall rankings, or like the rankings that you see on the cards associated with the diamond at the top. So meta overall, you're going to see a lot more power hitters and players with cutters and sinkers. And in the true overall, you're going to see a lot more higher rankings due to contact and other per nines for pitchers. But there is your meta overall squad. Are there any surprises? Anybody from the new program that you're going to be going after because of this video? There's only 12 cards you can pick as the program goes. Thankfully, you get to choose all of them. They're all choice packs this time, but who are you going to choose with those 12 players? Are any of these players that you're seeing on these rankings going to sway your decision one way or the other? Let us know in the comment section. But until then, this is Kasabi from Showzone. Be sure to check out all sorts of different metrics on our websites and some tools to help you flip some cards, make some stubs in the meantime, get you closer to George Brett, and we'll see you in July.